Welcome to Old Coin Spot. This is the place where rare coins tell their hidden stories and reveal surprising values. Today, we're looking at a very special Eisenhower dollar, an ultra-rare piece that collectors are always searching for. Let's uncover its history, unique features, and just how much it could be worth in today's market. First up, the Eisenhower dollar of 1971 is one of the most fascinating pieces in modern American numismatics, standing as the first dollar coin struck by the U.S. Mint since the Peace Dollar series ended in 1935. Its sheer size, weight, and bold design have made it a standout for collectors who appreciate both history and artistry in coinage. Even when discovered in a very dirty or circulated state, this coin sparks curiosity because of its role in reviving the dollar denomination during a period of significant economic and cultural change in America. Today, certain rare varieties of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar command prices that can range as high as $2,800 when found in superior condition, especially if they carry unique minting traits or errors. The coin was minted in 1971 to honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower, who had passed away just 2 years earlier. Eisenhower was not only a respected U.S. president, but also the supreme Allied commander during World War II, making his commemoration on the nation's currency deeply symbolic. Alongside Eisenhower's portrait, the coin also pays tribute to the Apollo 11 mission on its reverse, which features an eagle landing on the moon, tying America's recent triumph in space exploration with its broader historical achievements. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, these early issues from 1971 hold a unique place as the first circulating Eisenhower dollars, produced at a time when Americans were adjusting to new monetary designs after decades without a dollar coin in their pockets. Collectors are particularly drawn to the distinct features of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar. On the obverse, the strong and commanding portrait of Eisenhower dominates the coin, designed by chief engraver Frank Gasparo. The reverse showcases the eagle and moon design that also appears on the Apollo 11 mission patch, symbolizing both peace and American progress. Measuring 38.1 millimeters in diameter and weighing over 22 grams, its copper-nickel-clad composition marked a departure from traditional silver coinage, though special silver-clad versions were struck for collectors. The size and bold imagery make the Eisenhower dollar easily recognizable, and when found in uncirculated condition, the coin has a striking brilliance that enhances its appeal. What elevates the 1971 Eisenhower dollar to ultra-rare status is not its general mintage, millions were struck, but the survival of certain scarce varieties. Notably, the friendly eagle reverse variety, along with examples struck on silver planchets intended for other issues, are among the most sought after. In dirty or heavily circulated form, these coins may look unimpressive, but under the surface, they often conceal hidden rarity that can command significant premiums. Condition is critical. While a heavily worn example may fetch a modest sum, coins graded near mint or certified as possessing an error variety can reach upwards of $3,700 in recent auctions. Market values for this coin vary widely based on type and preservation. A standard 1971 Eisenhower dollar in average circulated condition might only bring modest returns, but certified proof and error varieties are where true value lies. For instance, examples of the 1971 silver proof dollar have sold for well over $1,600, while rare circulation strike errors or extremely high-grade specimens from the Philadelphia Mint have approached the $4,200 range. The market for these coins has seen steady appreciation, with growing interest from younger collectors who see the Eisenhower dollar as both affordable and historically significant. For collectors hoping to add a 1971 Eisenhower dollar to their collection, it is essential to know what to look for. Examining details such as the sharpness of the eagle's feathers, clarity of Eisenhower's portrait, and signs of unique varieties can help distinguish a common issue from a valuable one. Certification by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC adds credibility and protection, ensuring the coin's authenticity and condition are verified. Collectors are advised to store these coins in protective holders to prevent further dirt or wear, as even small improvements in surface preservation can dramatically raise a coin's desirability. Despite its somewhat utilitarian role in circulation, the 1971 Eisenhower dollar has become a cornerstone of modern coin collecting. It bridges the gap between America's classic silver dollar era and its modern coinage, symbolizing a shift in both material and national identity. Its dual commemoration of Eisenhower and the moon landing gives it layered significance that few other coins of its time can rival. For investors, the steady upward trend in auction prices shows that rare varieties, especially in exceptional condition, are increasingly viewed as strong long-term additions to collections. In the end, the 1971 Eisenhower dollar stands as more than just a large, heavy piece of metal. It is a token of American history, innovation, and tribute. From its ties to one of the most respected presidents to its celebration of mankind's giant leap onto the lunar surface, this coin captures an era. While a dirty and worn example may appear ordinary at first glance, the right variety or well-preserved piece can easily be worth between $1,200 and $4,500, depending on rarity and grade. For collectors, this makes the Eisenhower dollar of 1971 not just a coin, but a journey into the powerful stories that shape numismatics. Next up, the Eisenhower dollar bearing the 1972 mint mark holds a distinctive place in American numismatic history, admired by collectors for its combination of historical importance, bold design, and relative scarcity in top condition. While circulated or dirty examples can appear unremarkable, certain high-grade and proof varieties of the 1972 have reached strong prices at auctions, with rare specimens selling well above $3,000. Its market appeal comes from its dual role as both a commemorative issue, honoring President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and the Apollo 11 landing, and as part of the short-lived but iconic Eisenhower dollar series that captured a transitional moment in U.S. coinage. When the U.S. Mint struck these coins in San Francisco in 1972, the Eisenhower dollar was still a relatively new issue, having been first released in 1971. The San Francisco Mint was tasked primarily with producing proof and silver-clad collector versions of the coin, which were not intended for general circulation. This gives the 1972 a unique standing among Eisenhower dollars, as it was directly aimed at the collector market rather than everyday use. In the wider cultural landscape, the coin symbolized both remembrance of Eisenhower's leadership during World War II and the Cold War era, as well as America's pride in its lunar achievements, linking two monumental chapters of U.S. history on one coin. The design itself continues to command attention for its strength and symbolism. The obverse features Frank Gasparo's stern and noble portrait of Eisenhower, framed by the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, with the date placed at the bottom. The reverse carries the now famous Apollo 11 mission insignia, an eagle landing on the moon with an olive branch in its claws, a design that captures both American ambition and its hopes for peace. The coin measures an impressive 38.1 millimeters in diameter and weighs over 22 grams, with the 1972 issues struck in both copper-nickel clad and 40% silver-clad compositions. Proof examples are especially prized for their deep cameo contrast, which enhances the dramatic imagery on both sides. One reason for the coin's rarity lies in its specialized mintage. The 1972 was produced in much smaller numbers than the Philadelphia or Denver issues, with proofs limited to collectors and never released into circulation. Within that limited mintage, high-quality strikes or pieces preserved in pristine condition are relatively scarce, making them highly sought after today. Error varieties, such as off-center strikes or planchet flaws, further elevate rarity. While dirty or circulated examples may not immediately reveal their potential, careful cleaning is discouraged, as original surfaces, even if toned or darkened, carry higher value to collectors than artificially altered ones. The market value for the 1972 Eisenhower dollar varies dramatically depending on type and condition. A typical circulated copper-nickel example may be modest in price, but silver-clad proofs and uncirculated coins can command significant premiums. Certified proof specimens with deep cameo contrast frequently sell between $1,200 and $3,500, while rare silver-clad versions in top-graded condition have reached closer to $4,700 in specialized sales. The growth in value reflects both the rising interest in modern U.S. coinage and the limited availability of top-tier Eisenhower dollars from San Francisco. These coins have shown consistent appreciation over the past 2 decades, with demand fueled by both seasoned collectors and new hobbyists seeking affordable, yet historic U.S. dollars. For collectors, acquiring a 1972 Eisenhower dollar requires both knowledge and caution. The first step is to learn to recognize genuine silver-clad issues versus the copper-nickel versions, as the silver strikes naturally carry a higher premium. Proof coins should be examined carefully for cameo contrast and surface preservation, with professional certification by PCGS or NGC highly recommended. Collectors are also advised to store coins in climate-controlled holders to prevent tarnishing, as even proof surfaces can lose luster over time. Reputable dealers, estate sales, and numismatic auctions remain the best sources for finding quality specimens, as these coins seldom turn up in everyday circulation. The Eisenhower dollar from 1972 is more than just a collector's curiosity. It is a bridge between America's historic silver coinage traditions and the modern era of clad coinage. It also represents the mint's recognition of the collector market as an important part of U.S. coin distribution, since many of these coins were sold directly to hobbyists rather than banks. Its role in commemorating both a revered president and humanity's leap into space adds layers of symbolism that resonate strongly with collectors, making it an enduringly popular piece in American numismatics. Ultimately, the 1972 Eisenhower dollar stands as a coin of historical resonance and tangible value. Even when discovered in very dirty condition, its size and design are unmistakable, and its potential worth can surprise those who underestimate its significance. For serious collectors, a high-grade proof or silver-clad version represents not only an aesthetically striking addition, but also a sound investment, with prices realistically falling in the $900 to $4,500 range, depending on rarity and condition. Its continued demand ensures that this issue will remain a centerpiece for both new and advanced collections for years to come. Next up, the 1974 no-mint Mark Eisenhower dollar. Now, I know what you're thinking. An Ike dollar from the 70s, and a dirty one at that, how could it possibly be valuable? But stick with me, because this isn't just any Eisenhower dollar. This is a ghost of the mint, a coin that slipped through the cracks under the most unusual circumstances, and its story is one of the most compelling in all of modern numismatics. First, let's talk about why this specific coin is so collectible. The Eisenhower dollar series itself was a brief, celebratory issue honoring both a beloved president and the monumental Apollo 11 moon landing. But the 1974 no-mint mark variety holds a unique and paradoxical position. While millions of these coins were struck for circulation, The vast majority from 1974 came from the San Francisco Mint, bearing its mint mark, primarily for collectors in copper-nickel-clad proof and uncirculated versions. The Philadelphia Mint, however, was also tasked with producing a small number of business strike-clad coins for circulation, and it's from this tiny batch that our star emerges. The absence of a mint mark on a Philadelphia coin is standard, but the extreme scarcity of the 1974 P business strike in any condition, let alone one that shows real-world wear and grime, is what transforms this common-looking coin into a numismatic unicorn. To understand the history and context, we have to go back to 1974. The country was in a transitional period, and the mint was preparing for a major change: the upcoming bicentennial coinage in 1975-76. Demand for the large, cumbersome Eisenhower dollar in everyday commerce was virtually non-existent. They were mostly used in casinos and for special purposes. Because of this, the mint saw little need for a massive production run of circulation-quality coins from Philadelphia. They focused their efforts on the special San Francisco issues for collectors. This means the 1974 P dollar was produced in minuscule numbers compared to its counterparts, and even fewer were actually released into the wild, where they could accumulate the character. And yes, the dirt that makes this particular coin so intriguing. It's a relic from the calm before the bicentennial storm, a true survivor from a limited issue. Now let's get up close and personal with the design. The obverse, designed by Frank Gasparro, features a bold, left-facing portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, based on his official presidential photograph. The inscriptions include Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year 1974. The reverse is where the magic truly lies, depicting an American eagle in flight, clutching an olive branch, descending onto the surface of the moon. This powerful image, also by Gasparro, was meant to symbolize the Apollo 11 mission and is based on the mission insignia. The Earth is visible in the distant sky above the lunar surface. The inscriptions are United States of America, EPLURIBUS UNUM, and $1. On a very worn and dirty example like the one we're discussing, these features will be heavily muted, but the core elements of the design should still be fully identifiable, with the eagle's outline and the moon's surface clearly discernible beneath the layers of accumulated history. This brings us to the heart of the matter: its staggering rarity and survival rate. While mintage figures for the 1974 P business strike are not precisely known, numismatic experts estimate that perhaps only 20,000 to 40,000 were ever struck for circulation. Of that already tiny number, the vast majority were likely hoarded by collectors almost immediately, preserved in mint state grades. This means that a coin like the one we're focusing on, a coin that actually saw some handling, that ended up in someone's pocket or cash register, and that has the dirt and minor marks to prove it, is exponentially rarer. Finding a genuine 1974 P Eisenhower dollar in very dirty, but otherwise problem-free condition, with no serious gouges or damage, is like finding a needle in a haystack. Its survival in this state is a minor miracle, a tangible piece of a very small and elusive population. In terms of collector demand, this coin stands out in the Eisenhower dollar series like a giant among men. For a series collector aiming for a complete set, the 1974 P in any grade is the undisputed key date, the ultimate prize. Its demand is not just high, it's ferocious. When one of these surfaces in a public auction, especially in a grade that is accessible to more collectors than a pristine mint state example, it creates a frenzy. It's the cornerstone of the series. Its appeal isn't just in its metallic composition or its design, but in its story of scarcity and neglect. A dirty, circulated example has a narrative that a perfect, shiny coin simply cannot match. It's a working-class hero of a coin that turned out to be royalty. So what is this numismatic legend worth in today's market? For a 1974 no mint mark Eisenhower dollar in a clearly circulated, very dirty condition, You must temper your expectations compared to a gem uncirculated piece, but the value is still astonishing. A coin in, say, good to very good condition with heavy dirt and honest wear, but no major damage, can easily command a price between $800 and $1,500 in today's market. If the details are sharper, perhaps in the fine to very fine range despite the heavy surface grime, the value could push into the $1,800 to $3,000 range or even higher, depending on the specific eye appeal and the level of buyer competition. Remember, these are not face value coins. They are significant numismatic assets, and their value is a direct reflection of their profound rarity in any condition. For those of you inspired to hunt for this coin, my collecting tips are specific. First, condition is everything but with a twist. For this issue, simply finding *1 is 90% of the battle. Look closely at any and all Eisenhower dollars from 1974. The absence of a mint mark is your first and most important clue. Examine the coin under good light. The surfaces will be heavily toned or downright dirty, but you need to look past that. Check for the strength of the design elements. Can you clearly see the eagle's feathers and the lines on the moon's surface? Avoid coins with deep scratches, gouges, or signs of cleaning, as these problems can drastically reduce the value. Your best bet is to search through old collections, attend coin shows, and monitor major online auction houses. Do not expect to find this in a bankroll. Its days in general circulation are long over. In conclusion, the 1974 no-mint mark Eisenhower dollar in very dirty condition is far more than just a worn-out dollar coin. It is a monument to a specific and fleeting moment in U.S. minting history, a coin whose rarity was born from simple lack of demand, creating a collectible that is now in ferocious demand. Its appeal crosses the spectrum, from the Eisenhower series specialist who needs it to complete their set, to the type coin collector who wants the ultimate challenge, to the new collector captivated by the romance of finding a treasure in plain sight. It proves that value isn't always about a perfect, mirror-like shine. Sometimes, it's about the dirt, the history, and the sheer improbability of a coin's survival. And speaking of improbable survivals and hidden treasures, just wait until you see what we're covering next time. We're going to shift gears entirely and travel back to the 19th century to examine a legendary silver coin that was struck for less than 1 year, a coin so rare and desired that even a low-grade, damaged example can be worth a small fortune. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, happy hunting. Next up, the 1977 D Eisenhower dollar, the big, bold, Denver-minted Ike that so often shows up in, well, very dirty condition. At first glance, it looks like a casino workhorse past its prime, but don't let the grime fool you. In the Eisenhower series, the 1977 D has 2 lanes of greatness: top-tier mint state survivors that trade hands for serious money, and ultra-rare mint errors that can be valuable even when they've been through the ringer. So if you've ever wondered whether that dull, grubby 1977 D in your drawer could be sneaky good, stick with me. By the end, you'll know exactly what makes this date and mint mark collectible, how to read the dirt without scrubbing it off, and where the real value hides. Set the stage. Let's talk 1977 and minting context. The huge bicentennial celebration had just wrapped. The dual-dated 1776-1976 Ikes were old news, and the mint was gearing up for the new small-sized dollar that would arrive in 1979. In 1977, Philadelphia and Denver resumed the standard Eisenhower design in copper-nickel clad for everyday use, while San Francisco handled proofs. Demand for big dollars in actual commerce was tepid. Casinos loved them, but most people didn't, and yet Denver still struck a robust batch. We're talking on the order of roughly 33 million pieces for 1977 D, a healthy mintage that flooded the western states and casino pipelines. The result? Lots of circulation, lots of bag marks, and yes, lots of dirt. That wear and tear is precisely why truly high-grade survivors are scarce. and why the occasional dramatic error that slipped out before quality control noticed has become the stuff of legend. The year sits in a fascinating in-between, post-bicentennial, pre-Susan B. Anthony, with the Ike design marching toward its final bow. Now let's get close to the coin itself. The obverse by Frank Gasparro shows President Dwight D. Eisenhower facing left, with liberty arcing above and in God we trust tucked to the left of the portrait. The date 1977 anchors the bottom, and for Denver pieces the D mint mark appears on the obverse under Eisenhower's neck, above the sevens, in that open field where the mint mark pops when the light hits. The reverse is Gasparro's Apollo 11 tribute, an eagle descending onto the moon with an olive branch in its talons, Earth hanging in the distance, United States of America and EPLURIBUS UNUM wrapping the rim, and $1 at the base. You can also spot Gasparro's initials, FG, to the right of the eagle's tail feathers. The coin is copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, reeded edge, 38.1 and about 22.68 grams. On a very dirty example, details can look dull and flat, but angle the coin under a desk lamp and you may catch the cartwheel luster peeking through the grime. Don't be surprised if some letters, like the R in Liberty, show minor hub variations. Collectors dub some peg-leg styles. Those minor quirks are cool, but not typically big money by themselves. This brings us to the heart of the matter, rarity and survival in specific conditions. As a date, 1977D is not rare in low grades. Circulated examples are abundant, and very dirty ones are more common than not. The trick is that Eisenhower dollars are huge, heavy coins that got clattered in bags, slot machines, and tills, so clean, mark-free surfaces are exceptionally hard to come by. That's why Mint State 66 is legitimately tough, and true MS-67 registry caliber coins sit in tiny populations at the major grading services. Now add the wild card, mint errors. A 1977 D struck off-center with the date and D still visible, a dramatic double strike, or a wrong planchet piece, think quarter planchet at 5.67 grams, or the ultra-rare off-metal strikes. Those are the ultra-scarce survivors. And here's the twist you came for. Even a grime-caked example of a major error can be a prize because rarity trumps cosmetics. That said, many dramatic errors were plucked early because they looked odd, so genuinely circulated, dirty error Ikes are fewer still. If you find one, you're not just lucky, you've outplayed time and traffic. In terms of collector demand, the 1977 D stands out in the Eisenhower Dollar series in two distinct ways. First, it's a crucial business strike date for set builders, and the tug-of-war at the top, those MS-66 and MS-67 slabs, creates real competition in registry sets. The coin size, the Cold War hero on the front, and the moon landing imagery on the back give the series a built-in fan base, and that interest has only grown as new collectors discover Ikes are the last of the big cartwheels. Second, error and variety specialists hunt the 1977 D for those headline-grabbing mistakes, making this date a crossover target beyond standard set collecting. That's where a very dirty coin can still read as special. Clear off-center strikes, wrong planchet diameter, weak rims, or thin planchet weight can shout error, even when the coin looks rough. So while a common, circulated 1977 D is modest, the date absolutely earns its spotlight when it comes to top-grade survivors and spectacular mint mishaps. So what is a 1977 D Eisenhower dollar worth today? Let's map the ranges so you have a gut check. A normal, clearly circulated coin in very dirty condition typically sells in the $125 to $300 range. Nicer XF, AU pieces might bring $300 to $800. Move into uncirculated, and you'll see MS-60. MS-63 at roughly $1,000 to $3,500. MS-65 at about $600 to $1,500. And MS-66 often in the $2,000 to $6,000 window depending on eye appeal and pops. True MS-67 pieces can push into the $2,000 to $6,000 plus stratosphere when they appear, with premium bids for exceptional luster, clean fields, or proof-like flash. Now the error lane. A 1977D struck on a clad quarter planchet, smaller diameter, 5.67 G, can realize $4,000 to $12,000. A big off-center with full date and mint mark visible often lands $1,500 to $5,000. Dramatic double strikes, especially flip-over second strikes, can range $4,000 to $15,000. Off-metal or 40% silver planchet discoveries are extraordinarily rare and sometimes debated. If authenticated, they can command five-figure money, roughly $10,000 to $30,000 or more. Dirt doesn't add value, and never clean, but rarity, eye appeal, and certification absolutely do. For those itching to hunt, here's how to play it smart and safe. Then we'll wrap. Condition still matters even on a dirty coin. Look past the grime for original luster, fewer contact marks on Ike's cheek in the fields, and crisp feather detail on the eagle. Don't clean. If you truly must stabilize something sticky, consult a pro about safe, non-abrasive conservation. Weigh your coin. A normal Ike is about 22.68 G. A quarter planchet error will be way lighter, and a wrong diameter strike may show incomplete rims. Check the D mint mark placement under the neck and use angled light to coax out detail. For grading, only submit if you have a strong uncirculated candidate or a bona fide error. PCGS and NGC certification turns maybe into market confidence. Where to look? Old casino-adjacent accumulations, estate boxes, coin shows with junk bins, and online lots where individual coins aren't described well. Build references. The Cherry Pickers, Guide, Auction Archives, and Ike Specialist resources, so you can move fast when opportunity knocks. In short, the 1977D Eisenhower dollar might be common in average shape, but the story changes completely at the extremes. Top pop slabs and eye-opening errors are the reason this date keeps collectors leaning in. And next up, we'll keep you leaning in. We're heading back to the early 70s to break down the notorious 1972 Philadelphia Type 2 Earth Ike, the variety that turned a common dollar into a crown jewel. Don't miss it.